Welcome to round one of the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series.
Caribbean Union Bank for all your banking needs. Credit cards, savings accounts, and CDs. POS terminals for convenience. While helping you with small business development. Whether you need help to achieve your goal. Or land loans and mortgages for your dream home. Supporting many programs that help the nation's youth. CUB is always here for you. Times are changing, don't you know? CUB, you can bank on us. Whatever you need, just let us know. CUB, you can bank on us. Saving your money and your time with the quality service we provide. Banking the better way every time. CUB, you can bank on us.
CUB cares. Call us today at 481-8278. Let's talk.
Thank you for joining us for the fourth encounter in the first round of the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. This evening, Sir McChesney George Secondary and Antigua Girls High School are here to meet and debate the moot. Enough has been done by government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. I will repeat, enough has been done by government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. I'm your moderator, Priscilla Mar Sutton. It's time to meet our teams. We will start with the proposition, Sir McChesney George Secondary.
My name is Aline Ambrose. I'm from the Sir McChesney George Secondary School.
My name is Garen Coffey, the first speaker of Sir McChesney George Secondary School.
My name is Unique Simon, and I will be the standby for the Sir McChesney George Secondary School.
A round of applause for our proposition, Sir McChesney George Secondary. We now move on to the opposing team, the Antigua Girls High School. Let's meet them.
I am Lilian Munoz. I am the first speaker of Antigua Girls High School.
I am Sherry Pascal. I am the second speaker of the Antigua Girls High School.
My name is Imani Ambrose, and I am the first speaker reserved for the Antigua Girls High School.
My name is Spring Weaver, and I am the second speaker reserved for the Antigua Girls High School.
Round of applause for our opposing team today, the Antigua Girls High School. Now, let's meet the panel of judges who will decide on the team that will advance in the competition. Joining us this evening, Elissa Graham, Public Relations Officer with the Antigua and Barbuda Electoral Commission. Katie Ann Camacho, Education Officer within the Ministry of Education. And Jamil Lee, Program Coordinator for UNICEF. A round of applause for our adjudicators. Our timekeeper, as usual, is the lovely Miss Aisha Lynch. We will begin this encounter with the proposition's first speaker, Garen Coffey, followed by the opposition's first speaker, Sherry Pascal of the Antigua Girls High School. We will then move on to the second speaker from each team. First speakers will be given 5 minutes for their presentations, and second speakers 3 minutes. The bell will ring once at 1 minute and twice before the allotted time expires. Following the presentations, we will move on to rebuttals. In that segment, 3 minutes will be given to each debater. It is time to hear from our sponsor, Caribbean Union Bank. Don't touch that dial. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the debate begins.
Caribbean Union Bank for all your banking needs. Credit cards, savings accounts, and CDs. POS terminals for convenience. While helping you with small business development. Whether you need help to achieve your goal. Or land loans and mortgages for your dream home. Supporting many programs that help the nation's youth. CUB is always here for you. Times are changing, don't you know? CUB, you can bank on us. Whatever you need, just let us know. CUB, you can bank on us. Saving your money and your time with the quality service we provide. Banking the better way every time. CUB, you can bank on us.
CUB cares. Call us today at 481-8278. Let's talk.
Welcome back to the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. If you're just joining us, the moot for this encounter between the Antigua Girls High School and the Sir McChesney George Secondary is: enough has been done by government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. Enough has been done by government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. I know you're ready, and so am I. We will now begin this encounter with the first speaker from the proposition, Sir McChesney George Secondary. Please welcome Garen Cuffey.
Madam Moderator, honorable judges, my worthy opponents, listening and viewing audiences, good evening. My colleague and I are here to propose the moot. Enough has been done by the government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. Madam Moderator, before I get into my argument, allow me to define the key terms in tonight's moot. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines enough as, and I quote, to a degree or quantity that satisfies or that is sufficient, end of quote. For the sake of this argument, we'll take government to mean the governing administration of Antigua and Barbuda and its various agencies. The Oxford Dictionary defines adequately as, and I quote, to an acceptable extent, end of quote. According to the Oxford Dictionary, prepare means, quote, to make something or somebody ready to be used or to do something, end of quote. The Cambridge Dictionary defines successfully as, quote, achieving the results wanted or hoped for, end of quote. The same source defines pursue as, quote, to employ measures to obtain or accomplish something, end of quote. Dictionary.com defines career as an occupation or profession, especially one requiring special training. UNESCO defines TVET as technical and vocational education and training, which is understood as comprising education, training and skills development relating to a wide range of occupational fields, production, services, and livelihoods. My worthy opponents, are you aware that many of the subjects that are on our regular timetable are managed by the TVET unit? These include technical drawing, food nutrition and health, textile clothing and fashion, EDPM, visual arts, POB, POA, office administration, and a host of others. So, Madam Moderator, what role should the government play in adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET? And to what extent are they fulfilling that role? An online article titled Government's Role in Vocational Education and Training identified curriculum development as a critical role. An article that was published by UNESCO International Center for TVET described the curriculum used at ABIS as a modular, competency-based one, which leads to a Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, awarded by CXC through the Antigua and Barbuda National Training Agency, NTA. The article continued to list 8 areas that are available to students. Another online article titled Role of Government in Supporting Vocational Education, dated January 24, 2023, identified the following roles. Number 1, investing in infrastructure and facilities that are needed to support vocational education programs such as workshops, labs, and training centers. 2, providing funding for vocational schools and training programs. 3, development and implementation of policies and regulations that govern the vocational system. 4, partnering with business and industry organizations to align the curriculum and training programs with the current and future needs of the workforce. 5, providing financial aid and scholarships for students pursuing vocational education. And 6, providing opportunities for students to pursue vocational education alongside academic education. Madam Moderator, let us now start to check the boxes. Has our government invested in TVET facilities? For starters, my worthy opponents, all government secondary schools have industrial arts centers and or home economic centers, IT labs, and visual arts facilities. My worthy opponents, back in 2007, even before you and I came into existence, the government of Antigua and Barbuda saw it necessary to provide the students with a second chance and lifelong learning opportunities through the amalgamation of social programs focusing on offering TVET programs, and thus the Antigua and Barbuda Institute of Continuing Education, ABIS, was founded. Madam Moderator, other institutions established by the government or government agencies to facilitate TVET includes the Gilbert Agricultural and Rural Development Center, which came into stream in 1989. The God Center provides vocational training and business advice to help vulnerable young people gain employable and technical entrepreneurial skills to compete in the global work environment. There's also ABHTI and ABIT and the Antigua State College, all of which continue to adequately prepare students for the job market. Madam Moderator, worthy opponents, honorable judges, we are not by no means suggesting that we have a perfect TVET system, but we remain resolute that enough has been done by the government to prepare students to pursue careers in TVET. The proof is all around us. Thank you.
Thank you, Garen. Team Sir McChesney George Secondary, and he completed his presentation in a time of 4 minutes and 58 seconds. Another round of applause for the Sir McChesney George Secondary. We now move on to the opposing team, the Antigua Girls High School. Please welcome Lillian Munoz, and she will be the first speaker for Team Antigua Girls High School.
Moderator, esteemed judges, worthy opponents, listening and viewing audience, good evening. My colleague and I are ecstatic to oppose this evening's moot, which states, enough has been done by the government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. Before delving into our argument, allow me to provide clarity on key terms. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, enough signifies an abundance required for a particular purpose. The term government refers to the official body controlling a nation. Adequately connotes the satisfaction for a particular purpose. Students are those engaged in learning at educational institutions, and career denotes the series of occupations pursued during one's working life. Additionally, as defined by UNESCO, TVET stands for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. With these definitions in mind, I present 3 crucial points to support our opposition. 1, delayed implementation and disparity in coverage. 2, urgent need for comprehensive resources. And 3, TVET's crucial role in societal resilience. My colleague will explore the insufficient recruitment and support for skilled educators and the need for the government's appropriate use of resources present here in Antigua and Barbuda. Madam Moderator, it appears that there is a commendable acknowledgement of TVET by the government. However, there is a concern about the disparity between decisions made and actual implementation. The gap between decision-making and application hinders the intended positive impact of TVET initiatives. Antigua Observer Newsco stated, the Bethesda Primary School is set to be transformed into a TVET center that will mainly focus on agriculture science, according to a decision made by the Cabinet on Wednesday, 7th of February, 2024. But, according to the same Cabinet note, this decision was taken in 2015. Madam Moderator, 2015? Why did it take this long for a much-needed institution? Did you know that our tourism sector could benefit greatly through linkages with the agricultural sector? Tourism in Antigua and Barbuda is the largest economic sector, bringing in more than 50% of the most gross domestic product and making up more than 46% of national employment here in Antigua and Barbuda. It is truly sad to say our government has wasted nearly a decade on an idea that could have contributed so much to our economy. It is of the utmost disgrace. Can we truly expect development in Antigua and Barbuda? This is not enough. In addition, there is an urgent need for comprehensive resource allocation. How can we assert that the government is adequately addressing TVET when our own sister island, Barbuda, the Holy Trinity Academy lacks essential vocational education resources, such as facilities for agricultural science and cooking. The absence of exposure to practical skills at the primary level puts students at a disadvantage, as they may encounter a substantial learning curve when introduced to these subjects in the secondary school level. Maria Montessori quotes, "The most important years of learning are from 0 to 6, underscoring the critical role of early childhood in skill development. The government should leverage this insight to provide early experience, interactions, and stimuli for optimal learning." Moreover, a student of the Holy Trinity Academy has emphasized the absence of a science lab, highlighting that experiments are limited to the classroom. Clearly, the lack of resources further compounds the issue. In light of these challenges, it raises concerns about the government's efforts in meeting students' TVET needs. Because as the quote by Robert John Meehan says, "Every child has a different learning style and pace. Each child is unique, not only capable of learning, but also capable of succeeding." How can we prepare these kids for the future if we disregard their education by putting them at obvious disadvantages? Finally, TVET plays a crucial role in societal resilience, as exemplified during the COVID-19 pandemic. When the virus hit, numerous individuals faced unemployment, leaving mostly those with vocational skills employed, such as cooks, plumbers, technicians. The pandemic highlighted the resilience and adaptability of vocational education. The plea for more government involvement emphasizes the real potential of vocational education can only be realized through strategic decisions and resource allocation. Madam Moderator, worthy opponents, we stand strong against the moot that enough has been done by the government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. Thank you.
Thank you, Lillian. Team Antigua Girls High School. Round of applause. You can do better than that. And she completed her presentation in a time of 5 minutes and 32 seconds. We now move on to our second speakers, starting with the proposition. Please welcome from the Sir McChesney George Secondary, Elaine Ambrose. Welcome her.
Madam Moderator, honorable judges, my worthy opponents, listening and viewing audiences, good evening. My colleague has laid the foundation of our argument. It is my task to provide further tangible evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the government of Antigua and Barbuda has and is doing more than enough to adequately prepare students to pursue careers in TVET. In his 2024 budget presentation, Prime Minister Brown declared, and I quote, "Mr. Speaker, our government's commitment to building the human capital of this nation is unmatched. We continue to ensure significant investments in education infrastructure, as is evidenced in the recently completed redevelopment of the Antigua and Barbuda Institute of Continuing Education Abyss campus. This was made possible through a generous grant of £4 million from the Harrison Foundation. This is a clear example of the government providing funding for vocational schools and training. Madam Moderator, do you need evidence of policy development and implementation? Well, the Antigua and Barbuda Education Act of 2008, specifically Part 6, Section 124 to 135. Then, the Antigua and Barbuda Draft Education Sector Plan 2013 to 2018. Also, the National Training Agency Act 2008, number 8 of 2008, are all key TVET policy documents. A quote from Antigua State College's website, Department of Industrial Technology states, and I quote, "Our programs of study include an internship component. Over the industry partners have supported this venture over the years to the benefits of our students. End of quote. This moderator is a perfect example of partnering with business and industry organization. And for your information, moderator, head of department, Mr. Jerry King has confirmed that the students are in demand. What about the provision of financial aid and scholarships for TVET-related studies? According to the chairperson of Board of Education Scholarship Committee, Ms. Denise Gardner, every year there are new scholarship opportunities in TVET-related studies, which translate to at least 25% of their annual budget. It is estimated that individuals pursuing these studies are sponsored to the tune of $400,000 annually. Finally, moderator, our school system is structured in a manner that allows the student to do academic and vocational subject simultaneously, allowing us to have the best of both worlds. Moderator, by investing in infrastructure and facilities, providing funding and vocational schools, creating the regulatory framework, partnering with business and industry organizations, providing financial aid and scholarships in TVET-related studies, providing opportunities for students to pursue vocational education alongside academic education, the government has done more than enough to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. Just ask the thousands of graduates of ABIS, ABHTI, Abbott, and Antigua State College who are enjoying the fruits of their very lucrative careers. We rest our case.
Thank you, Elaine. Team Sir McChesney George Secondary, and she completed her presentation in a time of 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Round of applause. We now move on to the second speaker, hailing from the Antigua Girls High School. Please welcome Sherry Pascal.
All protocols previously established. Good evening. Madam Moderator, I wish to express strong backing for my colleague opposing the motion that the government has done enough to adequately prepare students for successful careers in TVET. I will be expounding on these two critical points: insufficient recruitment and support for skilled educators, the government's appropriate use of resources present in Antigua and Barbuda. The quantity of teaching staff is pivotal in determining the success of TVET initiatives. While efforts have been made to recruit trained educators, the retention and ongoing development of skilled teachers remain insufficient. Reports from TVET institutions in Antigua and Barbuda indicate challenges in recruiting and retaining skilled educators with both academic credentials and industry experience. Many qualified teachers may opt for opportunities abroad or in other sectors due to limited incentives or professional development opportunities within the TVET sector. The government must prioritize the recruitment and support of teachers with both academic credentials and industry experience. Only through this concerned effort can we bridge the gap between classroom learning and real-world application, ensuring all students are adequately prepared for the demands of their future careers. To truly enhance TVET education, the government needs to appropriately use the present resources available in Antigua and Barbuda. This involves investing in modern equipment, updating curricula to industry standards, and providing ongoing training and support for educators. Adequate funding and logistical support are not luxuries, but fundamental necessities for the success of TVET programs. Madam Moderator and judges, is the government of Antigua and Barbuda really and truly using its resources effectively? When compared to Haiti, which faces economic challenges, significant efforts have been made to enhance technical and vocational education, as highlighted by a UNEVOC article. Organizations like the National Institute of Vocational Training, INFP, are dedicated to improving the skills and employability. Without these resources, TVET initiatives risk stagnation, becoming outdated and ill-equipped to meet the dynamic demands of modern industries. To summarize, the government of Antigua and Barbuda has invested significantly in TVET programs, but further action is needed to ensure students are adequately prepared for successful careers in this field. Effective resource utilization and prioritization of teachers with academic qualifications and industry experience are essential for the success of TVET initiatives. As Mark Twain once said, continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Therefore, the government of Antigua and Barbuda must make the best of its current resources. With these statements, Madam Moderator, we rest our case.
Thank you, Sherry. That was Sherry Pascal, Team Antigua Girls High School. Another round of applause. She completed her presentation in a time of 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm sure you will agree that both teams so far have been doing an outstanding job. You would agree, right? So another round of applause for our teams as we take our second break to hear from our sponsor, Caribbean Union Bank. On the other side of the break, the rebuttals. Stay with us.
Caribbean Union Bank for all your banking needs. Credit cards, savings, accounts, and CDs. POS terminals for convenience. While helping you with small business development. Whether you need help to achieve your goal. Or land loans and mortgages for your dream home. Supporting many programs to help the nation's youth. CUB is always here for you. Times are changing, don't you know? CUB, you can bank on us. Whatever you need, just let us know. CUB, you can bank on us. Saving your money and your time with the quality service we provide. Banking the better way every time. CUB, you can bank on us.
CUB cares. Call us today at 481-8278. Let's talk.
Welcome back to the 2024 Intersecondary School Debate Series, brought to you with the kind compliments of Caribbean Union Bank. If you're just joining us, the Sir McChesney George Secondary and the Antigua Girls High School are meeting to debate the moot. Enough has been done by government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TV, ET, or TVET. The rebuttal segment is about to begin. We will begin with the opposing team, the Antigua Girls High School. Each presenter will be given 3 minutes in which to complete their presentation. The bell will ring once at the beginning of the final minute and twice when the maximum allotted time would have expired. I know you're excited, and so am I. Let the rebuttals begin with the Antigua Girls High School. Please welcome Lillian Munoz.
My fellow opponents have mentioned that the government has invested, but can you speak for your own school? Have they invested it at your own school, Sir McChesney George? Sure, many of you do economics, don't you? Technical drawing. Would you say that you have received satisfaction from the government currently? These efforts are quite preposterous, would you say? You also mentioned that the government has identified TVET importance. My opponents have not realized that the government is only saying things without putting anything into action. These statistics that you have mentioned are quite ambiguous. And I must say that my opponent's information are quite outdated. 1989? Unbelievable! Fellow opponents, are you aware of the year? It is 2024. Your recent research that you mentioned was in 2008, 16 years ago, when the Samsung phone was around with the buttons. My dear friends, we are using updated technology. Shouldn't updated research and technology be implemented by the government? How can you say that that is adequate effort? You said that adequately means sufficient. Is that sufficient? Fellow opponents, 2024 budget presentation that you have mentioned states that the £4 million was given by the government to invest in schools. But did you mention if it was a loan or was this truly given? Because, my dear friends, if it was a loan, this is just putting the economy at greater risk, and this would not be classified as enough. You also mentioned that the Abyss development and the State College was implemented by the government. But were the teachers trained? Do they have skilled teachers to truly educate TVET students? The opposing team has not mentioned this. Would you trust a doctor freshly out of college and university in a surgery room? I wouldn't think so. The same way with your students. No parent would trust a student, no parent would trust teachers with students on their education. Same like how you would not put your life on the line. Madam Moderator, I must say that these statistics that they have mentioned are not enough. And I am not convinced that the government has done enough in TVET. I thank you.
Thank you, Lillian. Team Antigua Girls High School. Give her a round of applause for a very spirited rebuttal. She completed her presentation in a time of 2 minutes and 34 seconds. We now move on to the proposition. Sir McChesney George Secondary. Please welcome Garen Cuffey. Come on, give him a round of applause.
Madam Moderator, worthy opponents, honorable judges, listening and viewing audiences. We have listened very carefully at our opponent's argument, and we still remain resolute that the government has done enough to prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. As I mentioned earlier, we're not saying that the system is perfect, but a perfect system is not required to bring about some or even a significant measure of success. We listed a number of things that the government needs to do to make it possible for students to be successful. Madam Moderator, our opponents stressed on the resource allocation, but as my colleague said, every year there's a new scholarship opportunities for TVET studies, which are translated to 25%. 25%! And sponsorships of $400,000 annually? Madam Moderator, our opponents also brought up our own primary school for not having the necessary facilities, but I can attest to the greatness that walks down our halls each day. Even without aid in the primary school, even failing in secondary school, just the experience is enough to have a lucrative career. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin. Team Sir McChesney George Secondary. Another round of applause. He completed his presentation in a time of 1 minute and 16 seconds. I know you will agree with me that we had a really outstanding debate today. A round of applause for our debaters. Come on, give it up for them. This brings us to the end of the fourth encounter in the first round of the 2024 CUB Intersecondary School Debate Series. When we return, we will hear from our judges. Don't go anywhere.
Caribbean Union Bank for all your banking needs. Credit cards, savings accounts, and CDs. POS terminals for convenience. While helping you with small business development. Whether you need help to achieve your goal or land loans and mortgages for your dream home. Supporting many programs to help the nation's youth. CUB is always here for you. Times are changing, don't you know? CUB, you can bank on us. Whatever you need, just let us know. CUB, you can bank on us. Saving your money and your time with the quality service we provide. Banking the better way every time. CUB, you can bank on us.
CUB cares. Call us today at 481-8278. Let's talk.
Thank you for staying with us. The Sir McChesney George Secondary and the Antigua Girls High School met in this encounter. The judges have deliberated and tallied their scores. To bring us feedback and the judges' decision, please welcome Judge Katie Ann Camacho. Round of applause for her.
Good evening, one and all. I am honored to bring the judges' report on behalf of the judging panel this evening. I must begin by congratulating both teams this evening for delivering a hearty debate on the moot enough has been done by the government to adequately prepare students to successfully pursue careers in TVET. Firstly, I want to start with the positives, what we can actually commend our teams for. There was evidence of much research by one team in particular that was able to provide or mention legislation that is available on the moot. We had mention of the Education Act, we had mention of the Training Agency Act, among others. Both teams also took the time to provide definitions of all the key terms in the moot. And this is very important. However, what we were hoping to hear was a restating of the moot with these definitions in mind. Additionally, we noted that the team members were communicating during the encounter, and that is definitely something that is important. As the teams put forward their points, it's important that you're noting them in preparation for the rebuttal. But on the other hand, there was evidence of much dependence on the script. We saw a lot of reading this evening. And so we want to encourage debaters. At the very least, you should know the moot that you're presenting. So even the very moot, we saw debaters reading to us. Yes? And so we want to do some work where that is concerned. Some work is also needed on modulation. Your pitch, your speed in delivery. We saw persons where they're going very quickly, really fast, and chopping off some of their words in the presentation. And so we want to bear this in mind. It's just important to know the time you're working with, know the points you have to present, and modulating so that you're getting the points over within this particular time. But I know all of this is not necessarily what you are waiting to hear. But one more point I want to make before I get to the crux of the matter that you're waiting on. The rebuttals. Much more work is needed in preparing and delivering rebuttals. So what did we see? We saw teams actually providing statements or identifying points that were presented, but they were actually misrepresenting some of the points. And so if you're already misrepresenting the points, then your counter-argument becomes a little void. So we want to do some work where that is concerned as well. All right. The best speaker, or the better speaker for the proposition this evening, according to the judges' tallying, is Elaine Ambrose. The better speaker for the opposition this evening, Miss Lillian Munoz. Congratulations to both of you. The overall best speaker this evening, Miss Lillian Munoz. The average score for the proposition this evening, 54 points. With an average score for the opposition of 64 points, we must declare the winner of this evening's encounter, the Antigua Girls High School. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Camacho, for delivering the judges' feedback and results. Another resounding round of applause for both of our teams, and keep it going for the Antigua Girls High School, who, of course, will move forward in the competition. Congratulations to you, ladies, and also to you for doing a great job. It is time for our closing remarks from both teams, and we will start with Sir McChesney George Secondary. Please welcome Elaine Ambrose.
Madam Moderator, honorable judges, my worthy opponents, listening and viewing audiences, my trainer, I thank you for... I thank you for the support during this journey, and I look forward for entering this competition again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elaine Ambrose, Sir McChesney George Secondary. Now, we move on to the winning team, the Antigua Girls High School. Please welcome Sherry Pascal.
Good evening. I would like to thank the judges, honorable moderator, Madam Moderator, yes. I would like to thank our coaches, Mrs. Cochrane, Mr. Guvaya, also our teammates, whether you're the standby or if you helped us to gather information. I would like to thank our opponents for putting up a worthy fight, and thank you all for watching this evening. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you once again to both of our teams. That's all the time we have this evening. Congratulations once more to the Antigua Girls High School and the Sir McChesney George Secondary for an outstanding debate. Thank you also to our studio and television audiences for joining us weekly for the Caribbean Union Bank Intersecondary School Debate Series. That's all the time we have. I'm your moderator, Priscilla Marsh Sutton. Until next week for another informative debate. Until then, bye-bye.